The Asus ROG Phone 6D Ultimate was previously positioned as the best gaming phone that we've surveyed. It has since slid down the list of competitors, following the send-off of the fresher ROG Phone 7 Ultimate. That is problematic for the ROG Phone 6D, as it's yet to get a cost cut, in spite of costing similarly as much as the more impressive ROG Phone 7 Ultimate. Thus, it's difficult to suggest the Ultimate 6D until it gets a cost drop or is accessible second-hand at a more reasonable cost. In any case, on the off chance that we remove the cost from the situation, the Asus ROG Phone 6D Ultimate is as yet a noteworthy gaming phone. It has a smooth display, long battery life, and extraordinary performance, regardless of whether it isn't exactly basically as bleeding edge as when it previously sent off in 2022. Design and screen. Huge and weighty yet adjusted design. IPX4 rating. Enormous, responsive display. Asus hasn't changed its design language for the ROG Phone 6D Ultimate. It's another huge, weighty, and unequivocally gaming-centered gadget. The phone is an incredible 10.4mm thick and weighs 239 grams. That is about a similar load as the iPhone 14 Pro Max and, surprisingly, heavier than the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. I utilized the ROG Phone 6D Ultimate as my principal phone for a week or somewhere in the vicinity, and I viewed its weight as distractingly prominent. The back of the phone is particularly ROG-ish, with a gunmetal space dim completion that is somewhat more controlled than the 6 Pro's glaring white. Not that it's inconspicuous, you actually get a sprinkling of light blue features, rakish science fiction decals, and pieces of text specked around. IPX4 confirmation makes a return, and that implies that Asus hasn't made a move to make its lead gaming phone any more residue or water safe. Then there's that 2 inches back screen, known as the ROG Vision. This display shows custom designs for approaching calls, while charging or messing around, and the sky is the limit from there. It's basically completely unnecessary. Yet anybody entirely put resources into the ostentatious gamer tasteful will surely find it cool. Inverse that display on the backboard is another Aero active portal. This puzzling dim plastic entryway precisely slides open when you attach the included Aero active Cooler 6, uncovering the phone's hot innards to much more windstream than the 6 Pro. Considering that the last option never truly battled with keeping up with performance over an extended time. With its own fan connected, it's a cool, however inessential expansion. Both the ROG Vision and Aero Active Portal are not accessible on the fresher ROG Phone 7 phone, giving the 6D Ultimate a slight benefit in spite of sending off the prior year. However, the ROG Phone 7 Ultimate uses the ROG Vision and Aero Active Portal, making the fresher model a seriously enticing other option. The actual fan has a double capability, other than permitting the ROG Phone 6D Ultimate to run at high clock rates for broadened gaming meetings. It likewise bears 4 actual shoulder buttons. This, alongside the phone's inherent capacitive air triggers, loans you an amazing exhibit of controls to guide to key controls. On the off chance that you're searching for an upper hand in shooters like Extraordinary Mission at Hand Mobile, Apex Legends, or PUBG Mobile, shy of connecting a full Bluetooth regulator, this is all there is to it. Another gaming accommodating element is the provision of 2 USB-C ports, one on the base edge, annoyingly positioned aside, and the other on the left edge for interfacing the previously mentioned fan. It additionally makes charging, while at the same time gaming in scene mode undeniably more lovely. Asus has shrewdly kept the display from different phones in the ROG Phone 6 series. It's a similar enormous 6.78 inches FHD plus AMOLED, with a very fast 165Hz most extreme revive rate. It's just similarly responsive as displays get, particularly with a 720Hz touch testing rate guarantee that your touch inputs are recorded in a flash. Camera. 50-megapixel primary sensor is a nice entertainer. 13-megapixel broad means a major drop-off in quality. Full-scale sensor is really inconsequential. I could practically reorder the camera segment from the Asus ROG Phone 6 Pro survey here, as it's precisely the same setup. You're taking a gander at a 50-megapixel primary camera, a 13-megapixel far-reaching, and a 5-megapixel large-scale, very much like previously. Be that as it may, Asus changing to another chip implies new picture processing, so it's definitely worth dragging it through some serious hardship according to its very own preferences. The fundamental news here keeps on being that 50-megapixel wide sensor, which by and by sees the Sony IMX766 being brought into play. This is a dependable picture sensor that has found its direction into any semblance of the Oppo Find X3 Pro, the OnePlus Nord 2T, and the Asus ZenFone 9 as of late. As gaming phones go, it's a very decent provision. I was satisfied with the greater part of the shots I took with the ROG Phone 6D Ultimate's principal sensor during my trial, paying little heed to lighting conditions. Outside shots were fresh and very much uncovered, while indoor shots caught a fair measure of detail without degenerating into a smudgy wreck, and night mode kept things excellently clear without overlighting up. The 13-megapixel VAST is an alternate matter completely, encountering the sort of drop-off exhaustively, openness and dynamic quality that you'd hope to see from a mid-range non-gaming phone selling for not exactly a portion of the cost. What's more, the less said about that 5-megapixel large-scale camera, the better. Performance. Changes to MediaTek Dimensity 9000 Plus. Performance practically identical with Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. 16GB RAM, 512GB storage. The single greatest change from the Asus ROG Phone 6 Pro here connects with performance. However, performance was the one region that was totally irreproachable on the 6 Pro. For the ROG Phone 6D Ultimate, Asus has traded out the leader Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chip for the MediaTek Dimensity 9000 Plus. MediaTek chips are normally less expensive than their Qualcomm counterparts, which I need to accept for the time being. That is the fundamental driver for this phone's delivery. This is another very good quality 4nm chip, and it produces a comparable degree of performance. As a matter of fact, normal Geekbench 5 scores of 1382 single-center and 4635 multi-center top those of the 6 Pro, recommending that the MediaTek computer chip is, regardless, somewhat quicker. On the GPU front, my tests would appear to recommend a swing the other way. While the 6D Ultimate maximized the really 3D imprint tests, very much like the 6 Pro, it just scored 2663 in the requesting natural life outrageous test. That is 146 focuses shy of the 6 Pro. All the more critically, the ROG Phone 6D Ultimate, similar to the 6 Pro, is equipped for supporting its elite performance over longer timeframes than those different phones, particularly when you cut on that fan. Running the 3D imprint Untamed Life Intense Pressure Test, which runs the previously mentioned escalated GPU benchmark on different occasions over 20 minutes. The 6D Ultimate kept a practically ideal level of consistency from circles 1 to 20. Obviously, the 6 Pro kept a comparatively reliable performance over an extended time, so you could barely consider this an improvement. There's just a single emphasis of the Asus ROG Phone 6D Ultimate, and it accompanies 16GB of RAM and 512GB of inside storage. That is 2GB less RAM than the 6 Pro, yet I challenge anybody to say that they notice the distinction by and by. The fly in the salve here is that the fresher ROG Phone 7 and ROG Phone 7 Ultimate models pack a considerably more remarkable chip in the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Our benchmarks show that the new chip provides a critical performance support, both for the computer processor and GPU. A GFX bench test demonstrates that the ROG Phone 7 models can profit from as much as a 30 FPS gaming performance increment, scoring a powerful 106 FPS in a vehicle pursuit recreation. So while the ROG Phone 6D Ultimate is positively an extremely strong Android phone, you can find significantly quicker gaming handsets now in the event that you're desiring greatest power. Battery life. Tremendous 6 mAh battery. Strong endurance. 65W quick charging. Asus has prepared the ROG Phone 6D Ultimate with a tremendous, split 6000 mAh battery, equivalent to on the ROG Phone 6 Pro. By isolating it into 2 cells, Asus spreads the phone's extensive weight, making it somewhat more agreeable to hold over a more extended time frame. It additionally assists control with warming development. 30 minutes of gaming on the 6D Ultimate drained 8% of a full charge, while real-time an hour of Netflix video drained 7%. That is 1-2% more than on the 6 Pro, yet at the same time not terrible. An hour of music streaming drained 2%. You get a 65W quick charger in the case as standard, very much like with the 6 Pro. This is adequate to get you to 46% in 15 minutes, motoring on to 85% in 30 minutes. Asus claims that you can get to 100% in 42 minutes, which rings with my experience. This isn't the quickest on the more extensive leader phone market. However, it's quickly enough inside a gaming phone setting with that extra enormous battery. Finally, please follow or subscribe to my channel to get more video. Thanks, and see you again next time.